where do you see the future? If you can take your crystal ball, the future of American Jewish institutions of higher education.
So first, we should distinguish between Jewish studies on the university campus and specifically Jewish institutions. When it comes to university campus, so Jewish studies was non-existent throughout the first 3 centuries of the American university experience. There were classes in Hebrew, in Bible, occasionally in some kind of rabbinics at the Ivy Leagues, taught usually by a Gentile. Then there were figures who were apostate Jews who taught. We're dating back into the 18th and 19th century. But in the early 20th century, there was the possibility of endowed chairs of Judaic studies at the big schools. So Harry Wolfson at Harvard had been on campus since the 19-teens, hoping and praying for a tenured position, which he would eventually get in the early 1930s. And at Columbia, the Linda Miller Chair, which was endowed in the late 1920s and was given to Professor Salo Barone, who wrote the massive social and religious history of the Jews. So by the 1930s, it is possible to have Jewish studies in the secular universities. How does that affect the seminaries? The answer is you don't have to go to JTS, HUC to get a doctorate in some kind of a Jewish field. You can go to any number of institutions. And that's how it is today, where there's plenty of Jewish studies on campus. There's the annual convention of the American Academy of Jewish Research, and much good work is being done, not all by Jews, sometimes by Gentile scholars of Jewish subjects. Then when it comes to the places that ordain rabbis, so the future is not necessarily so strong. On the non-Orthodox front, there is a struggle. Cincinnati is closing. The Reform schools have strong financial backing, but are hurting for students, and it's not the great venue that it once was. It doesn't have the appeal that it once did. JTS has undergone structurally a massive renovation project recently, and is aesthetically a beautiful campus now. Its library, which was closed for a while, is now back and running. But is the student population there? Not as strong as it once was. And precisely for that reason, there was recently an announcement by the school that not every conservative synagogue is going to be able to have a rabbi this coming high holiday season. There's an insufficient number of rabbis. On the Orthodox front, there is a plethora of schools. REITs now has competition to its left from Chovevei Torah, to its right from a whole host of Haredi yeshivot, which have been around since the 1930s. People have this erroneous impression that the Haredi yeshivot in America are a product of the post-Holocaust era. It's not really true. Torah Vodaas was founded in 1917. MTJ was founded in 1906. Ner Yisrael was founded in 1933. BMG was founded in 1943 during the war. So the post-Holocaust era, there was a flowering of these yeshivot and a dramatic increase in the number of students, but they had been around from long before. And these schools, of course, are doing quite well, with little regard for whether they produce functioning clergy members. They simply exist as a place to study the Torah.